We are back in the wild and beautiful Karoo, here in my home country of South Africa, and we've returned to a farm that is very close to my heart for many reasons, to have some fun and to sort out a pest problem. This farm keeps livestock, more specifically Angora goats and grey Brahmins, and these animals are constantly competing with smaller animals such as pigeons, doves, sparrows, starlings, and ground squirrels. In previous videos here, you will have seen the scale of the problem at certain times of the year, which can get particularly bad during the drought when feed has to be supplied to the animals. Today is particularly windy, but I've returned to a spot that worked out really well for me last time, a dam wall overlooking the sheds that gives me a good view of any potential perching spots, and a comfortable place to lie prone. I'm going to be using my FX Impact again today. I know you've seen a lot of this gun, and I know some of you are probably really sick of it, but it is my favorite gun and I like to use what I'm most comfortable with. I don't think I'm doing anyone a favor if I compromise on my hunting tool and aren't able to do the job to the best of my ability. And thankfully I've got the wind protector on my lapel mic today, so you should be able to hear me clearly despite the wind. Okay, we've got a bird there. Gonna range him. 71.9 meters. Okay, so I'm going to put it at 72, or actually I'm going to put it at 70 because of the incline. And the wind. Okay, there's a lull in the wind now, so I'm just going to actually aim dead on and let's see what happens. Oh, smashed him. Solid hit. You could probably hear that. It's really loud. So I'm happy with that. Good start to the day. Well guys, we're back at a very familiar place, and there may be some deja vu here as you look around and see some of the scenery around me, and there's a very good reason for that. This is a place that I've come to a number of times before. It's a place that's very close to my heart, and I would say this farm is probably one of the main reasons my channel exists today. There's a long history here. I was invited here in 2011, and this is one of the places my passion for airgun shooting started. I filmed a series called Birds of a Feather where I hunted doves, sparrows, quellias, pigeons, a few years ago even ducks, back with the A-Arms S510 177, which performed pretty well back then for me. And then I filmed a series called Pigeon Paradise where I lay on this exact hill and I targeted mostly rock pigeons but also a few doves from this exact hill back in 2014 on these rooftops here at between 60 and 90 meters. Back then that was long range for me with that setup and with the knowledge I had back then, and it was, I think for the whole industry, it was quite something to see birds being shot at these distances consistently with these 177 pellets. Thinking of how far we've progressed nowadays, that's not that much, and that's why I'm kind of enjoying being back here and thinking back on how things have changed, but we'll get to that point a little bit later. We've got doves in the trees. I've seen a few pigeons flying around, so let's get to work and we'll chat a bit later. From my position on the dam wall, I not only get a good view of all the trees, fences and rooftops below me, but I'm also able to look at the water behind me as a wind indicator. From here it's just a matter of waiting for birds to land. A dove shows up on the roof and I'm able to take another clean shot. My primary target today is actually the rock pigeons, but the doves are also responsible for eating the feed and are legal to shoot all year round, so I take the opportunity when it presents itself. There aren't as many doves here as there were last time I came, or pigeons. Reason for that is that they aren't feeding the cattle in this exact spot. They're actually feeding them about a few hundred meters in that direction, and I'm planning to go out there and actually shoot them down there, but this is where the good vantage point is. So I'm hoping these pigeons will travel from there and sit here and I'll be able to take them from here. But we'll see how it goes. Oh, and one more thing. You know that intro that you often see on my channel? Yeah, that was filmed just up the dam over there by that tree down there. It's quite funny to think back on that. That was, I believe that was about 7 or 8 years ago. So pretty cool to look back. The wind is really picking up now, so I know it's going to get a lot more difficult from here on,
But the nice thing about having time between your shots is that you can measure the wind properly and prepare yourself. A rock pigeon finally lands just over 100 yards away, and you can see I'm giving some good hold for the wind here.
Well, there you go, we got our first pigeon. Awesome. I saw it fly in from where they feed in the cattle on the other side of the farm there. Saw it land about 93 meters away on the roof. Yeah, I held about a mil for the wind, so the wind's really pumping right now. But yeah, I think I planted the shot in a solid spot. He went straight down, so I'm really glad to get one down, but hopefully we can get some more. I've realized that my scope has been a little bit off. I don't know if it got bumped in the track or something, but I've adjusted it. I checked the footage, it's hitting a few clicks to the left, so I've just put it 4 clicks right. We should be spot on now, so hopefully we don't miss anything for the rest of the day.
House sparrows are also problem birds here. This one is actually at a pretty awkward angle, so I have to take an offhand shot, and despite having to pass through a twig, the slug hits its mark. Twigs can often deflect pellets and slugs, but this 30 grain slug keeps on going dead straight and passes right through the sparrow's head.
The sparrow there.
No matter how experienced you are, this shot will always be trickier than you expect. This sparrow is within about 10 or 15 meters of me, and when a bird is this close, you have to give it a heck of a lot of holdover. I don't hold enough for this shot, unfortunately, and the slug actually passes right beneath him. At first I thought I'd pulled it, but nope, I just didn't hold over enough.
You guys will notice that I've kind of been switching between the side shot scope cam and the Eagle Vision. There's a reason for that. I think they both have strengths and weaknesses, and I'm trying to use their strengths and weaknesses in different situations. The Eagle Vision has really good image quality. I don't know what mirror or prism is inside that thing, but it's very, very good, and the picture comes out extremely clear. But there are other issues in that it takes a while to get it clamped on in a way that's, you can see clearly through the scope. The eye relief is not correct, so you basically have that thing butting up against your eye, and there's a chance that if you don't set it up properly, you can get a little ring around your eye, even if you're using a gun with very little recoil. So it's not ideal, and the side shot in many ways is superior to it, but as I said, quality is very important. The light transmission from Eagle Vision is a bit better than this one, so in low light conditions you get more light coming into your camera, which is great. But again, this one reflects more light into your eye, so with more light passing through to your eye, you can see better with your own eye. So there's a trade-off, and that's why I'm using both, and that's why I'm refusing to pick a favorite.
I didn't focus the scope properly for this one, but he gets absolutely middled, and it's a good humane shot.
I want to bring up a quick point here, and that is to remind you what the video was like that I filmed back here in 2014. We came out here with a 177 caliber shooting about 20 foot-pounds. We came out here with range cards, we came out here with no anemometer, and we were trying to guess what the wind was doing between here and 60 to 90 meters. And back then, a 60 meter shot was something that you couldn't take for granted, and a 90 meter shot was something that was an extreme challenge. And in those videos, I take shots at 91 meters, I take shots at 65 meters even, and I say that they were quite challenging, and they were. Back then I wasn't as good as I am now at shooting, and I certainly didn't have the equipment that I have now. Now we're sitting with a gun that I've taken shots at 200 meters plus with no issues, and the right equipment, anemometers and rangefinders that talk to each other and give you firing solutions that are accurate, scope cameras that are a massive step up to last time, where I basically had to film every shot on this camera, and that was a mission to set up. And even since then, the evolution of scope cam since then, where I basically was using a toilet roll and a $50 point and shoot camera that was like 360p or something ridiculous like that, that didn't do a very good job. But just looking at how things have evolved, you got to be grateful for the technology that's now available to us. And I got to just enjoy reminiscing being back here. It's such a beautiful spot, dam behind me, sun, mountains, and a lot of birds to shoot. So let's get back to the shooting, let's have some fun, and then we'll wrap it up.
Here are the last two shots of the day. The first one gets hit extremely hard. You can actually see bits and pieces flying off of him. And the second one just gets nicked, but it's enough to switch him off instantly.
So we've managed to get a few doves, we've managed to get a few sparrows, not the rock pigeons that we wanted to get, but what I'll do is I see them all landing down there. I'm going to go after them tomorrow morning. I'm going to put up some decoys and I'm going to see if I can get some of them down right at the troughs, which won't be easy. I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I mean, there's not much happening here, so got to give it a try.
It hasn't been a super eventful day in terms of the hunting. The real action actually comes the day after when we head down to where the cattle are being fed, so keep an eye out for that video. But it was still a fantastic day of just being out in nature and appreciating my surroundings. The weather was surprisingly warm for this time of the year, so I certainly made the most of it. As the sun goes down, we get the fire going, and I can tell you, there's nothing better than freshly cut mature lamb chops after a long day of hunting. As always, thanks for watching guys. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.